So I didn't get to start. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is our live in-person show. I get to
This coach, y'all.
yeah. So, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm super excited. I'm actually saving and posting a lot myself right now. So, if you don't already know, you know that you tune in. This is Quiet Dominance. So, thank you so much for tuning in tonight for this special BDSM one-on-one edition. Yes, So this is going to be amazing. So I'm super excited that everybody was able to tune in, come in. We're gonna learn some stuff. Get you a piece of paper, pad, pen, whatever it is you need. Take some notes. There'll be a link so you can take a quiz. There'll be all that fun stuff. There's gonna be some demos, some special guests. Like tonight's gonna be amazing. So thank you again for tuning in.
Yes.
How was your day? How was your week? Now that we're here.
My week the last couple of weeks have been hell. Life has been life, but you know what? I ain't gonna complain. It's my birthday month, so you know every weekend busy. So I rest in March.
Right. So birthday this month. Aquarius, Pisces. Yeah. Okay.
Pisces, honey.
So again, so my week has been kind of crazy.
How was your
Traveling is crazy. I drove 11 and a half hours from Atlanta, Georgia, down here to Houston, Texas for Masc Takeover Weekend. I'm tired of shit, but I'm here.
Okay.
I'm excited about tonight, so I'm not gonna let that get me down. But yes, I'm super excited, Jazz, to be here. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in for our BDSM 101 Part 1. So last month we had Art of Seduction or Art of Submission. So where we actually got some information from two subs that were able to come through, kind of give us a little information, some tips and tricks for the trade, and give us some life lessons because homegirl was definitely preaching. Right. So this month we're kind of going to go into like surface level again because you know there are some trained professionals here. We are not. So I need you to do research over me search, like Consciously says. Make sure that you research everything that you see here, anything that you're interested in, before you try anything.
Consent.
Yes, consent. Safe, sane, and consensual is the name for tonight. Yeah. So we have that for this month, and then next month we're actually going to be talking to a couple of doms, and I'm really excited about that. We may be able to get a couple primal doms, some daddy doms. They're going to come in with all their dominance and shit, and they're going to come and talk to us about some things. So I'm really excited about next month. That's well. Yes. So to kind of open up. So again, this is BDSM 101. So we kind of want to define what BDSM is because I know a lot of people, they just kind of hear this terminology and they're like, I don't know, or their experience of it may be a very horribly shot movie. Yeah. And just, I don't even want to speak its name. You guys know what it is. But
that other color.
Yeah. So basically, we kind of want to give some information. Again, anything that you have here, if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat. We'll answer them a little later. So we'll do that. So to define BDSM, it is an abbreviation for bondage, discipline for domination, sadism for submission, and masochism. So that's kind of what touches on what BDSM is. And again, we'll define some of these terms as well as the night progresses. So we're going to be putting a link in the chat for you. So in the comments, be sure to look for a link. And this link is kind of like a questionnaire for BDSM. And it asks you a series of questions. You can take the short form questionnaire or the long form. Yeah, the long one is better because it asks you more in-depth questions. And it'll give you
the long one.
Yes, very good answers. But so you can take that. And it basically kind of tells you where you may fall on the spectrum, things that may interest you. and it also gives you information blurbs about them. We actually took the test prior to coming, so we're actually going to share some of our top results with everybody and put our business out there a little bit. So, but I'm going to let my callers go first while I get the courage to do mine. Yes,
Okay.
we're going to do it too first.
I'm going to have some wiggle courage before. All right, so I'm just going to give a high level overview.
You can do like the top 3 or the top 5 if you want to do. Or top 10, you know, you can do whatever.
No.
You want to do top 10?
Boy, girl, submissive, age play, switch, and brat.
All right. So, okay, so let's kind of talk about what those mean, or some of those mean. So you were talking about boy, girl, age play, submissive, brat. What was the other one?
Rope bunny.
Rope bunny. Okay. So we got a couple rope bunnies in here. I'm one of those, so I can say that. So when we talk about, again, these terms, please research. So with age play, we can kind of define age play a little bit. And from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you in here, age play is typically someone who is attracted to someone who's like of a vast age difference. Is that correct? No.
Age play is more age play. Like
you are inhabiting the age that you.
So I was advised I'm probably at 9 because I asked a lot of questions.
Okay.
Why can't I? That's not fair. Things like that, which ties into me being a brat.
Got it. So brat is a good next one I was going to go to. So how do we define a brat? Because a brat is like we had with the art of submission. The sub that was on and that was talking to us, she also said that she was a brat. She kind of talked about it a little bit. So what does like being a brat mean to you?
I want my way.
You want your way.
I want my way. And if I can't have it, then that's where the age play comes in, because I want to know why I can't have it. I want to know why. Why can't I? I should be able to have whatever I want. And I don't understand the word no.
Okay.
But sometimes I don't mind getting this.
Oh, okay. So that's the brat part.
That's the brat part. And then I see how far I can go.
Okay. Testing the boundaries, basically, with your dominant counterpart.
Right.
Okay.
Put my business all out there. Y'all already know I like to do shows.
Listen, erotic is we gonna get to that later. But so you said rope bunny. So kind of describe what a rope bunny is. I know for your business out, but surface up. We don't have to get too deep in it.
Tie me up.
There we go. So bondage, basically. So the bondage part of BDSM. Something that interests you.
Yep.
And a rope bunny is actually the person who likes to be tied, not the tiger.
Yeah, tie me up.
Yes.
Show me. Tell me no.
All of those things, all of the above.
And then tell me why. And then punish me. There we go.
There we go. All full circle, so you already know. Got it. So
what about you?
So you actually named Switch, so I'll go over the Switch name.
Yeah.
So my top is actually very interesting. So mine is Switch, Voyeur, Experimentalist, Rope Bunny, and Brat as well.
Okay.
So, but I also have Rigger, which is the counterpart to Rope Bunny. It's pretty high as well.
Okay.
So to talk about Switch, so again, correct me if I'm wrong. From my understanding of what a Switch is someone who can dominate when need be, or when the energy feels, and can be submissive when need be or when the energy feels, and is comfortable in both.
Absolutely.
So not necessarily somebody who has to be one or the other full time. So that is what we're talking about when you talk about a Switch. Voyeur is just what it is. I like to watch. Nothing wrong with watching. I like people. I think people are sexy. So of course.
Why not?
Awesome. Experimentalist. I'm of the mindset that I'll try anything once. If I don't like it, I'll never do it again. So it's just kind of one of those things. Of course, there's some hard boundaries, certain things. But again, we're surface level.
Right.
So we just posted the link for the BDSM test. So if you want to actually answer the questions and figure out like where you may fall on this spectrum, please, I implore you, you can do the long test, but there is a short test if you don't have the time to do the long test.
Now, if you want to do the short test while we're on here and post your results, that'd be great.
Yes, you can post your
Why
top
not?
3. And we can see what we all got going on.
Right.
All of
Since
us.
we got to put our business out there. Put your business out there.
Exactly. Sharing is
Right.
so, and then also got the Bro Bunny and the Brat part as well. And then, like I said, the Rigger, which is the counterpart to the Bro Bunny. So like I said, we definitely encourage everybody to look at the results,
Right.
and kind of take the test, answer the questions as honestly as you can.
Right.
And you may be surprised about what you receive. There's a ton of different titles on there. I was just kind of like, whoa, there's a whole thing, like just to kind of go through a few. We're not going to define them because again, I need you to do your research. But so of course there's dominant, exhibitionist, primal hunter, primal prey, slave, sadist, master and mistress. There's non-monogamous. There's vanilla. So some of y'all might be a little lower or higher on the vanilla scale. You can check that out. There's owner, degrader,
Brat tamer.
Yes, brat tamer. There's all of those things on there. So definitely take the time to click on the link, take the test for yourself, see where we are. If you have a partner, both of y'all take the test.
Right.
See where you are, because this is actually could be a conversation starter. When you're dating someone or with someone in a relationship and you kind of don't really know how to broach the topic of kinks and everything else like that. Okay, so it looks like you can take them together. You can check and see if you're compatible with each other, which is again
somebody else.
or somebody else. No judgments. So
Single or not,
right, what you need. Safe, sane, consensual, all those things.
Right.
But so just kind of take it, see where you are. Like I said, it'll be a conversation starter, easy way to kind of ease into the sex talk or the kink talk if you're somebody who's more experienced in the lifestyle and you're dating somebody new who may not be or may be a little vanilla and you want to kind of, slowly introduce them to some things that you're into. This may be a good way to kind of take this test together. Absolutely. And then that way you can kind of gauge compatibility. And then also you can kind of see, they may be interested in some of the same things.
Right. And you might be surprised.
Yes, very surprised.
You might just feel
I'm super surprised at how high some of this on my list. Quite honest with you.
Right.
I
was like, wait, let's start up.
Because one of these says daddy, mommy, and I was like, I don't even know. That sounds cool. So we got those things. So what we want to do is, so we have some guests. Woo-hoo. We have some guests. And I'm really super excited about our guests.
It's a familiar face.
Yeah. Familiar face.
A returning guest.
Yes.
And best friend.
So we're going to have them come through. So the second part of our show is we're actually going to talk to you guys and show you some tools of the trade. We'll kind of talk about those things. And then we'll go into a live demonstration of some of the things that we've mentioned and some of the different kinks. Examples of some would be erotic asphyxiation, which is choking, gagging, those things. Sensory deprivation. We'll kind of talk a little bit about that. Is there any other ones? I think wax play was one of the ones that was going to be discussed. So we'll kind of go over the ones that we're going to talk about and go through with our expert and our lovely volunteer to go through that. So I'm really excited. Again, give us we're going to do like a 30-second count so that we can get the room set up. And then we'll come right back and we'll go with our special guest, okay? Right. All right. Thank you so much. You can take us out for 30 seconds.
Maybe. Oh, maybe. Maybe.
Thank you so much for our person who's manning our show tonight.
Right.
She's amazing and she's learning, which is awesome.
So we're gonna keep on cut us off while we're talking.
Right.
Absolutely. And since she's trying to figure that out, please know and understand that we are here as ourselves. We are all a part of various organizations. What we do here is not a representation of those organizations. We are individuals.
Yes.
So please understand that. And the demonstration is consensual, so nobody is doing anything against their will. So please note that when we come back. Don't be scared either, y'all. Okay.
Okay, so we're back.
Hey y'all, we are back. And I want to introduce our special guest. Like I said, one of them is a returning guest, which is Activator. And then we have best friend, Sid. So they are going to formally introduce themselves and let you know their roles. And then we're going to kind of show some things. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat. Let us know if you like what's happening. Let us know if you need more clarification. So again, we are here. We do not represent any organization that we are affiliated with. We are representing ourselves. And also, everyone again has given consent. And consent is very, very much so important. And sober consent, okay?
Yes.
Sober consent.
That part.
Sober consent.
We agree behind you.
See, yes, sober consent. Sober. So absolutely. Safe words. All right. So safe words. So I'm going to hand it over to our special guest. They're going to introduce themselves. They're going to talk about some of their test results. And then we're going to get right into it. So slide this way.
Yeah. Come up.
We in frame now?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Of course, the returning guest that you keep saying.
You was
I the first guest, the first official, but the inaugural. I'm gonna keep that title then.
absolutely.
I will go over a few of my test results and then some of my classifications. So the top three things for me is dominant, rigor, and sadist. But then I also have rat tamer, voyeur, and master mistress right up there, a few percent below. So I guess in the world, I would be known as a dominant or subcategory daddy.
Hey everyone, I'm Ambitious Sid. Just off the top of my head, thinking about some of my results, top was definitely switch. Next that was experimental, and then there was brat. I would definitely say that I fall in the category of sub.
She is.
Yeah. I would not have given brat, but okay.
Definitely give brat energy. But I have a lot of confidence too, so that's where my switch comes in at. But sub for sure. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome, thank you. So could you kind of talk a little bit, since you have went over some that we did not discuss before, can you kind of talk a little bit more about those dominant ones that you have?
Yes, I mean, you mentioned a couple of them of people that are going to come through, but there's a lot of subcategories with the dominant category. There are people that are just straight dominant. There's people that I call it daddy dom role, which is more of like I said, the age play and things like that. Most people that are rat tamers usually fall under the daddy dom because it takes a lot of patience and you are dealing with that kind of younger mentality. You have sensual doms who are dominant overall, but more on the sensual side, as I said. So there's a lot of different subcategories with the actual dominant that comes with it. So someone just telling you, hey, I'm a dominant, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are versed in everything. They might have a specialty or they might have something that they enjoy over the other. So.
Yes, it does. I think you may want to say this. I think we can cover that. So could you very lightly talk about that one, because again, it's like research. So all this is surface level research.
I guess you could say inflicting pain, but for pleasure. It's not necessarily, I'm not trying to go beat nobody or trying to injure anyone. Definitely none of that. It's more of a pain for pleasure thing. So the sensory things is very high on things that
Okay, awesome. So, so we have some tools that you guys have on the table. Would you be able to kind of show us those tools that you have on the
We'll
table?
go through a lot of the basic ones, a couple different things. Most people have experimented with typical blindfolds, you know, little closer, little blindfolds. Everyone usually has one of these, or you've used a tie, a scarf, a whatever you find next to your bedside, I'm sure, to use for that. We have a blogger, which yeah, someone was enthusiastic about that.
A good flogger is a good thing, you know?
Definitely. Some people are into floggers, some people are into the harder whips and paddles. Not the same sensory, so definitely find something that works for you because it's going to give you a different pain, pleasure kind of thing. We've got different cuffs. They get from simple, of just a regular strap cuff, or these are a little more complex because they have hooks that attach to things that you can purchase separately, you know, so have all of that. And that's really all of the candle. So things with candles.
Let the people know.
Please do not go to your cabinet and get that Bath and Body Works candle that you purchased on Candle Day to burn some.
Right.
You will literally burn them. So unless you want your partner in the middle of whatever y'all have going on to end up in the hospital, so y'all are going naked in the ambulance or just in your car, then please don't end up on the TV show of the sex injuries because you have given somebody a 3rd-degree burn on whatever extremity that you are choosing to put the candle on. So
what type of candle should they use?
100% soy-based. It changes when the temperature changes. So whenever it hits you on whatever you do, it automatically hardens and it's a pain pleasure sensory. So you don't have to worry about it burning you or injuring you or leaving a big red blotch like that. Back to Body Work candle. So we do not condone 3rd-degree burns.
Absolutely.
No.
So we're going to go over just a few of the basics. Like I said, not going to go in depth on the things that they can be used for, but we will give you a few ideas. Maybe it'll spark some interest. Maybe you'll see some things that you like, want to experiment with, or that you have done and maybe did it a different way. So that's definitely the goal for this wonderful video. Well, I don't think it took you 30 minutes, but okay. I'm not gonna be too good. We'll start standing up. So these are the simple straps that you can buy. These are actually versed, so they can go on legs, arms, whichever way you choose to put them. And then they have the ability to be tied onto something else. So if you're on a bed or standing up, chair, however you end up, I guess, you never know. Drunken night, super night, maybe. They have the ability to go. So it's a simple, arm out. You want it to be tight enough to where they can't move, but don't try to suffocate all of their extremities and have those stuff. And again, this is, just small. So with the ties, the ability to use them to move however you want to move that person, up, down, all that good stuff, kind of under your control. Or the ability, if you do this, the ability to tie them in many different directions. So I can tie them to where she is stuck behind her back. You can get a little bit more complex. Tie them to the bottom here. And now you can move, but only so far. So put on the leg, put on the arm. It gives you a little bit more restriction. Restraint. From her perspective, it's more of the controlling side. So while she is being controlled, the pleasure is still coming because she can only move so far. So I don't know if you necessarily restraint. Personally, yeah, she's like that. These again,
Yeah. Mhm.
So while you're doing that, so how does it make you feel?
I would say that the feeling for me is more so of knowing that I want something that I can't have at the moment. So it's pulling on those dom switch modes for me. Like, I want you to give me what I want right now, and you're not doing that. You're restraining me from doing that, and it's turning me on, but it's also pissing me off.
It's a brat side. It's a brat side. Again, you get a little more complex with the straps. These actually connect. So the space is restricted even more. So with the longer ties, you have the ability to move around a little bit. Definitely would recommend them for beginners who just want to experiment, or you might be with someone that you are trying to teach of what you like or what you enjoy, because that allows you a little bit more wiggle room. You still feel the restraint, but if you need to kind of get loose a little bit, you can. You don't feel too restrained. These a little different. Again, from our bedroom candy consultant, high tech. If y'all need to order some.
Thanks for the plug, bro. Thanks for the plug.
So these, same thing. Hands. Start with hands, because most people come up first. And then we will escalate from there. So they go single.
Also, everybody, if you have any questions for them, please make sure you put it in the chat, and we'll do that towards the end. We'll answer any questions that anybody may have.
So again, with the arms, okay, the ability to be separate, right? But also the ability to connect. So again, the restraint, the restriction, the ability to not be able to move.
And her wrist is sorry.
Now this is sitting down. Of course, simple. I suggest that you go over it with whoever you're going to be with, sitting down, comfortable, before you get a little bit more complex. Come on, child, give it back. Is that my fault?
Y'all leave them children alone.
Just say no. Back to that back. Oh, now it's
You don't have a stand up.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
What we said.
Who just be sitting down the whole time, baby?
I mean, it sounded nice.
I was trying to say this.
I'm trying to make sure that people understand the variety.
We are educating.
And the variety, you know?
That is true.
You can't just, be laying down.
See,
sitting
these
down.
ankles are stiff.
They-
Ah, sure.
Uh-huh.
Pickles.
So, this is fine.
Slim pickles.
Okay, so, the foot view, the leg view. So these, because they connect, give you the ability again to restrict the movements.
That's my co-host over here.
Sorry, y'all.
So,
Sorry.
these, again, as she was saying, she knows that it's something that she wants. So in reference to her trying to spread her legs, she can't. So this is as far as she goes. She can come forward. I mean, not forward, but together. But then again, that gives me the ability to kick it out. Now, once you start combining stuff, that's when it starts getting complex, more interesting. Because then you put more restrictions. with the lip one.
Yeah, the comment that said, oh my.
Restrictions. Oh, right.
Sorry, y'all.
Now the issue. Oh, okay. The brat don't come out. The prince of the brat come out. That's all we got to see. So again, yeah, right. It's all about the control. You know what I mean? It's all about the control. So her mobile is left out. So the control is all of the person who is not tied up, obviously, but her restrictions become more the more that you put it in. Oh, you're trying to do it.
Yeah, we did.
Now you can, of course. Well, you said, you can do that, and then it just gives her the ability to do. But simply being able to control by one tap, one foot, on anything.
Oh.
The co-host.
No, the co-host is over here. She's not supposed to.
I'm sorry, I forgot y'all could hear me. I'm just saying what the people saying and not commenting. I am A-okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, again, with everything, we get a little bit more complex. Did we just got a whole bunch of old lines? Or we have some questions?
Yeah, we had a couple of lines. No questions. Yeah, everybody's silent the moment tonight. Everybody taking notes.
They moved into it.
So once you start getting into the ability to put stuff on stuff with chains, hooks, apparatus, right? This goes both ways. So it can go this way, or it can go this way. Who put this? You what?
I was saying how the light is making me dark.
We need to move the lamp. Yeah, you got a lot of neck. You know, keep the thick neck. Thick legs, thick necks. So this right here is where you can start adding on multiple things and apparatuses. It's finding the ability to figure out what you like as well as what the other person likes and making it work. But essentially, as the dom, you control the situation.
We did have a comment that says, I need those straps for beginners. Where can I purchase those?
Amazon, honestly. Amazon is the easiest way. Yeah, if you want it tomorrow, you got Prime? Get it to you next day. Some of you can order and get about 10 p.m. at night. So again, not that you know. Yeah, we don't have Prime. We don't understand, right? So this once again gives you the ability to restrict her. So her moving or going forward is still gonna put a restraint on her. So some of it, when that brat comes out and she tries to move, is going to restrict her in multiple ways because it's gonna restrict her hands, but also the harder that she pulls out or tries to pull away, it's also gonna pull up here. So them chokers, y'all co-hosts, them chokers or the people that like things around their neck, this is good because it can go in the front or the back, and it gives you the ability to get that same sensation that you would of someone putting their hand around your throat. Please properly, I'll demonstrate that later. But it all depends on that person and you. That makes sense. So she's stuck here in both ways, right? You can undo one, you can bring it up, there's more hooks. So now she's restricted in multiple ways because she stays connected the entire time. Same thing. Keep it up. Of course. Same thing, right? Stuck. Multiple ways, she's stuck. You see the facial expressions.
So how do you feel when they're going through this? Like, I want to make sure you guys know it's important to check in with your partner,
Right.
especially when you're like learning and doing this. So how does all of this feel to you?
So this is one of my kinks for sure. I definitely like to be controlled in the sense of I don't have anywhere to go. You take away all the free will. So for me, that was like, oh yeah, we could do more of that.
Okay. Now, we talked earlier about like safe words and everything. So would this be a moment where people would need to practice that as well when they're going
So
through
your safe words, we want to develop them sober, sober. Conversation that needs to be had before anything has even looked at, brought out, or touched. Because if you don't know boundaries, safe words, or what they are willing to do and want to do, then once you get in the situation, emotions are high, feelings are high, sensations are high. You might not remember it, or you might not know, depending on who you're with. If you're with an experienced person, they can probably tell from your body language or your reactions, but not everyone can do that. So definitely discuss those boundaries and safe words previous, as well as make sure you do check-ins afterwards, because you want to make sure they might have liked it in that moment, but it might not be something that they want to do again. So you need to know those different things to make sure that you understand and that they understand. So you don't get in a situation where you just do it because you enjoy it, but the other person doesn't. So it's definitely a two-way street.
Is there a tool or a suggestion that you would give on the safe word, or how it should be, said?
Definitely. Safe words, we want to be one syllable, preferably. You also want it to be something that you can say no matter what the situation is. Emotions or anything is something you can remember. Ways to practice them is just randomly ask for it in the middle of the day, because it will give you the ability. That person not thinking about it, they're going to have to say, okay, what was it? If they can recite it like that, then it's something that they can remember anytime during whatever you have. But it's definitely something important to have to begin with. Then question.
So pineapples wouldn't be considered.
No
No.
pineapple.
No pineapple.
No pineapple. That's one word. It's a word that can be confused of you saying something else in the middle of saying pineapples. That's something that you might just get the P out and not the rest of the apples. So, we want to use something that definitely makes sense. Most people use colors or emotions. It's the easiest thing, but not pineapples. It's not. Let's stay away from the movie words.
Please.
So I was doing some research for tonight, and I saw where Dom was speaking to their stuff, and they were going over safe words. Well, what they were doing was going through tools, and he was asking her how she felt about it, how it felt, and she would either say red, yellow, or green. So is that like a common thing that's used, or is that similar to what you're talking about?
Kind of. So the safe word is just your safe word in general. If something is too intense, something is too rough, something is something that you just don't feel comfortable with, maybe it's a new thing that you're trying, it's just a single word that you want to be able to say so that that person stops in the middle of whatever it is they're doing. So that's why it has to be something that you can remember, regardless of what move. Now the red, yellow, and green is part of the follow-up, because it's kind of knowing or understanding how that person felt about whatever it was. So it might be this: hey, how did you feel about it? Was that green? Was that yellow? Was that red? Okay, well, we use this thing. Was that green, yellow, or red? So then you can understand either something else new to try or something that they didn't like and it helps you. There's also tests online, or it's a sheet online that you can go through that has a list of a bunch of stuff that you can say yes, no, no, I don't feel comfortable, yes, I feel comfortable. It's a checklist. So you can physically give someone a checklist and say, this is what I feel comfortable with, this is not what I feel comfortable with, so that they have an understanding going into it of you having a conversation. Maybe you don't feel comfortable having an intimate conversation with that, you feel more comfortable just saying, this is what I want to do. So that's definitely an option as well. Easiest thing. We flip this around. So now this is in the front instead of the back. Same idea. Same thing, visibility. So if she pulls or you pull, not you pulling against me, pull against her up here. As you see, you get some flinches and you get some resistance, so you might have to pull a little harder. That's when those fake words come in, because you do not want to yank, and then this yank, and then y'all both be fighting and that's not be good. So definitely. We'll get this out of you. So
Resistance, right?
Resistant arresting. Definitely. So other than the restraints, a lot of people talk about sensory play.
What is that?
Sensory play is, of course, everybody knows what their senses are, 5 senses. When you take one of them away, it heightens everything else that you have going on in your body. So most beginners, sensory play is something that is good because it doesn't necessarily always involve any type of apparatus, but you're able to do it being trusted.
Before you get started, I don't know if you did it at the beginning, but can you show them like how it is to basically get consent when doing this?
Get consent, yeah. So the consent is in general a conversation first. Like I said, if you want to do the checklist, if you want to do that. But a lot of the consent, a lot of the communication is nonverbal. It's not necessarily verbal. So that's where the trust comes in. But the overall consent would be the beginning before you even get started. Like, do you feel comfortable with this? You might have things that are laid out. Like, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about this? So you can have that initial conversation like that, get consent, so that you know in the heat of a moment when you're grabbing for something, you've already had that conversation and they're okay with it. Just jumping into it, jumping off the bridge. Don't jump too deep off the bridge. So yeah. The most common, of course, sensory is the wonderful blindfold. I'm sure everyone has taken a scarf or a t-shirt. Feel great. I got you. You know I have one. So this main thing, the blindfold. So taking away vision, especially if you think about it in a dark room, taking away vision is going to heighten everything else. So anywhere that you touch on the person's body, anywhere that you feel, lick, whatever you feel like doing at that moment is going to heighten because they can't see where you're coming from and they can't see what you're doing. So that is probably the most typical sensory play, and that's going to elevate, like I said, your feeling, your touch, all of those wonderful senses that you have. That was a question. Some people, again, are not into blindfolds. It restricts them, and it's a lot of trust for someone to completely take away your vision because you are putting 100% of your faith in that other person. So while blindfolding is the most common sensory play, it's also the most feared simply because you don't have any control. You don't know where stuff is coming from. You don't know what's going to happen to you or your person. So that's definitely a big trust thing. If you have any hesitation and you do not trust that person or you have not discussed any safe words or anything, please don't try that one because it's definitely going to terrify you and I would hate you to not be able to enjoy the blindfold because it's a good thing for you to enjoy. You shaking your head like this. Yeah. They both make it. Yeah. This one, I'm going to talk about it. I'm not necessarily going to demonstrate all that good fun stuff.
Y'all do this. Y'all can be like,
right? So part of the sensory, think about a blindfold, that's again, the feeling, but it's the pain pleasure aspect. So this one is not as hard as some of them. You get a little bit more leather, more leather, you get the hard leather, right? As well as you can get to whips, you can get into paddles, you can get into all those good fun things that are available, large and small, size doesn't matter. But it gives you the ability to inflict the pain on someone, but it's an instant pain. So, people use tattoos, people use, multiple things for that instant pain pleasure thing. So that's definitely what it is. This gives you the ability, like I said, to inflict the reaction on the best friend, like, do it. Do it.
You
do
do
it. Don't tease the people. But we're going to talk about it, but not do it just because she's a bride and she wants it. So I'm not going to.
It's just.
So can you tell the people? I got you, best friend. So can you tell the people what that felt like? And can you have best friend, let her feel it and explain to the people what that felt like? So maybe they're interested.
Is this your brat?
But maybe they're interested. Maybe they're interested, but kind of afraid.
I'm going to hit best friend, and then she can say,
Yeah.
I'm a right hand wrister. So
Okay, all right. So what, is it a way that you should?
it's in the wrist.
Okay.
Yes. Floggers, paddles, they definitely are, it's an art. So don't let someone just kind of wind up like they got a baseball bat to hit you.
It's gonna be a fight.
You can also basically injure somebody by just, smacking them with a paddle. So we definitely don't want that. Do your research on that before you start doing it. The easiest thing that I can tell people or that I tell people is to hit up because it takes away some of the friction of the impact, but you also feel the pleasure. So do not hit directly at the person, hit up on the person. Hopefully that helps. So I'm going to put your hand out. You put your hand out and we will let her feel the pain / pleasure, even though other extremities will probably be better than this one. We're not gonna big best friend on today. This one again is not really that difficult. What's that feel like? Nothing.
It was,
It's not really.
yeah, because it's not, yeah.
So she's not really feeling too much with this.
It's okay.
So that would be the conversation that you would have. So like, okay, this is not hard enough, or the experience is not enough. So then you
Yeah,
have
the
to
whip
try
is not intense.
intense enough for your personal life.
Right.
So would you recommend someone doing that to introduce, like a softer, more not so hard flogger?
So that depends on people's pain level.
Yeah.
You normally know your pain level before you start in general. You might not know where you will go to, but you have a starting point. So you can kind of against your hand and like, okay, am I gonna feel that or am I not gonna feel that type of thing? To know where to start. Now, where you end it, I definitely can't tell you that because everybody's pain pleasure goes up. But it's a starting point if you're a little nervous about the person, not so much about your pain level, because then you can have a little bit of control even though you are getting flogged in the process, because they can't necessarily hit you too hard, if that makes sense. So that would definitely be easier to do it that way. One of my favorites, which is very controversial, as we talked about, the candle wax. These are soy-based candles. You can get them at any adult store. You can also get them online if you need them in bulk. No judgment, just need bulk candles, soy-based candles. Again, don't get the Bath and Body Works candles that you need. Again, going to the ability of that quick pain, pleasure, sensory type thing. It does have the long wick, so you have to burn it for a little while before it starts to melt.
How you feeling, best friend? What's going through your mind? Right, we get the camera.
Let's just say it's gonna be a fun time.
All right.
I'm be PG-13. Oh, it's just a day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There feels more. Yeah. Right on there. Oh,
Good.
demonstrate it.
Good. How that feel?
It feels amazing. Okay, I had to burn the wick down. So, yeah. Hand out. So again, this wax is on multiple locations. See if we can get it without. I'm trying not to mess the floor up. It's your own house and your own sheets. What's it feel like?
So you definitely feel warm, but you're not getting burned. Like it's definitely giving you a warm, sensational feeling that travels areas.
So now the more sensitive areas, you will get more pain from it. As you see, it is instantly dry. Something you can peel off, not a 3rd-degree burn. You don't have to worry about it. But you have to think in sensitive areas. Nipples, thighs, inner arms, chest areas, backs, things like that. You are going to get a heightened sense.
No, yes.
See, now it's my call. See, that was on me. Now look, my co-host got some areas.
Get to those sensitive areas. You got touching the area, it's a little bit more sensitive. Anybody has ever bit you in any of those areas, think of it like that. You're going to get candles dripped on you. So your nipples, your inner thighs, your arms, your back, that sensation is going to heighten, but the pleasure is also going to heighten. So you're going to feel it for a second, but as you see, it's completely peeled off. You don't have to worry about it. It's not going to give you a third-degree burn, and you won't end up in somebody's hospital,
I'm fixing it.
with a big red blotch. Definitely. Our wonderful co-host favorite. This right here. How dang I'm choking. Please
Know what you're doing.
before someone chokes you or before you choke someone else, please do not choke them like you hate them. Okay, that's the easiest way to go. Don't choke them like you hate them. All right, you can instantly have somebody pass out. Why that may be something that they have agreed to consensually. We don't want to practice doing that on a regular basis, right? So if you need to practice sitting there in your living room with the person that you want to choke you in the middle of your passion, then please do that. But understand that it needs to be someone that you trust and someone who understands the principles of the choking, right? There are multiple ways to choke. I don't go into all of the 12 million ways that there are to choke, but we will do the basis in what they represent, I guess would be the easiest way to say it. Right-handed, so I'm gonna go on this side, even though you don't have to, but I also just want to make sure that y'all can see it. Turn it. All right, so the choking, right? You gotta think. This where's your cheekbones go in 1 and 2, right? The best part is what?
Y'all be thinking it. I'm thinking. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet.
Accessories under here, right? But please do not go and start looking for people's accessories and have to with their esophagus not being able to breathe and getting no kind of breath that's coming through. So please do not do it if you do not understand, right? So the ability to here. All right, Keshia. And tighten and loosen and go up. Now, once you get a little more complex, you can flip your hand and be able to do it there. But you can control their head and they move it a little bit more. So, how does that feel to you? Because you just look like you had a moment for a second.
That's best friend, so we good on it.
Now, a day later, I feel sorry for the day later because I can't protect that lady because I'm gonna be asleep. But again, people enjoy it in the moment. People just enjoy it in general. I think I posted a video the other day. Someone who completely trusts you and is okay with you doing that, it's a different sensation for them and they're open to it. Regardless of it's just sitting down and you're just gonna walk up to them and give them a kiss, regardless of if you're in the middle of a moment, whatever it may be, who you gonna demonstrate to them about standing up? I was trying not to get I was trying to see. Yeah, somebody asked about the hand placement again. The hand placement.
I knew somebody else would get a visual enough to say,
You working for the people? She working for the people.
Oh, that is someone for like.
Yeah. She working for come closer.
okay.
So again, throat, right? You have these cheekbones, right? Everyone can see. I don't know if you can see my finger. The cheekbones, right? You can see her cheekbones. Right directly below the cheekbone, there's a little cup. That part. Okay? So you can tighten and you can move up, but you allow them to be able to breathe through whatever is happening, whether it's just sitting there, whether the orgasm is happening, whatever's going on. This is giving them a sensation and that part, but they can still breathe.
I can breathe.
Yeah, she can still breathe. So I can tighten, I can loosen. You don't, everybody thinks you gotta have your whole,
Right.
Please don't hurt the people, don't injure the people, right? You can do it here, you can do it there. I understand, and maybe that person's bigger and you gotta do a little more. But again, it's all right here. Same thing, no matter which way I have my hand, my fingers are still right there, applying the pressure, right? Best friend talk about chokeholds. You can get different ways. So it just depends on. I ain't gonna do it because best friend, but she can. I date later. Take care of the rest.
My day not doing
Take
that.
care of the rest.
So how does that make you feel?
So I will say it is the feeling of intensity for me. So you're thinking like, oh shit, I might not be able to breathe, but in a sense, they're not going to take your cut off your breath line. Of course, these are very sensitive glands, so they're expressing something inside of you. For me, I don't know what they are expressing for others, but for me, they definitely go to areas of clitoris, nipples, and those areas are intensified. So then all the other things that get led onto is just like, okay, you just added another level.
Okay. So for this asphyxiation and the choking, is it something just to be done solo, or is it in conjunction with other things?
You can do both. So they can be solo. They can have other things. Like I said, once you add different apparatuses, they actually do that feeling for you. So it becomes a dual, I'm restrained hands, feet, but I also have the asphyxiation. I also have that pleasure from that. So that's definitely understanding where the person is and reading y'all relationship in that status, but that's also those safe words, making sure that they understand that, because I would hate for somebody to be completely choked out and they not be able to breathe, and you can't say the word because it's pineapples, and then you stuck because you can't get the apples out. So that's what I definitely say, don't use pineapples, don't use that. Don't use stop, because sometimes people stop means go.
Yes.
So please do not use stop as your safe word either, because I would hate for you to get in a situation where you're saying stop and that person still means go. So definitely don't use stop, don't use pineapples.
So is this the conclusion?
Yeah, that's all the basics. They definitely get more complex. Even with those apparatuses, you can combine, you can separate, you can add to it, and that makes it become a little bit more complex, because now you have different sensories, you have different restrictions, you have different things all across the body that you are touching. So you can do it together, you can do it separate, definitely. So that's all we have for the beginners. Don't get too complex if you don't.
No. So we've done the restraint, we've done the wax play, the sensory, and now the asphyxiation. So can you talk a little bit about what aftercare is? In our previous show, we talked about the other submission about what aftercare can be or what it can look like for some people. So after you and your partner has kind of had this dynamic exchange, what does that look like?
The aftercare can be done in multiple ways. It can be done in reassurance of that conversation. It can also be done in just a question form of having a general conversation. It would like to be afterwards, so where you're still in the moment, you're still fresh on the brain, you're still able to comprehend it. Understand that some people pass out afterwards, not like pass out, but they just sleepy and they still sleep. So have that conversation the next day. Don't wait multiple days, but there's different ways to do it. It's reassurance to that person or to your submissive of what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy, the appreciation type of conversation, or it can just be a conversation of, hey, did you enjoy this? What did you feel during this? Is it something you want to do more of? Is it something you need to be more intense? That way you can understand where they're coming from and what they need in that whole aspect.
So Sid, what is your aftercare look like, or what do you prefer?
So my aftercare looks like reassurance, just asking me if I'm okay, just asking me if I've enjoyed myself. Is there anything more that I would like, anything less? Is there anything that I want to try next time? Those questions make me feel like this is a safe space for me to come back to.
That's important.
And that's important to have safe spaces for everything. So thank you so much for coming through. And so let everybody know where they can find you on your socials. If you have anything that you would like to plug, now would be the time to do it.
So my Instagram handle is ambitious_Sid. That's what I'm typically on. That's what I'm using the most of. So if you all want to follow, go ahead and do so. And it's SYD as in dog.
Deborah. I am, of course, Calculator. Facebook, C Calculator, Wilson, and then on Instagram, I am just Captivate Her, an 8 and an HER after the Captivate. You can find me on both platforms. I am there. I actually have a book, or it's a self-help, self-guided, I guess I should say, journal that is coming out in a couple weeks from a concerned human. So if y'all know me on Facebook, the concerned human is definitely about to drop something more of that to come the rest of the year. But that will be the first installment of the concerned human. So definitely get it, take it, 30 days of kind of self-reflection and self-guided self-care.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming through. All right, so this is actually going to conclude. So this is actually going to conclude our show for tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm so happy to see Nelly. So Houston, I'm here, baby. It was good.
Yeah.
For Masc Takeover Weekend. So definitely make sure you tune into everything that's going on. realboystalk.org. Register for everything. We got studs and films. We're gonna have the lovely on the panel, and then I'm going to moderate. So definitely make sure that you come through for that. We're gonna have a speed dating and mixer afterwards. So Saturday on the 10th in Houston, Texas, at the Montrose Center. But you definitely have to go on to register to get your tickets and everything. It's going to be amazing. And again, our next show next month will be a continuation of this, but we're actually going to be showing love with the Doms. So we're going to have a couple of Doms come through. They're going to flex their muscles, do their thing, kind of give us some more tips. So I'm super excited about our next show. Hopefully we can contain ourselves.
I know.
Because we are definitely bred. So we're going to try not to trigger the Doms. We might, though. I can't make any promises.
That's what my business out there.
Right. We'll try not to trigger them too bad. So,
I'm gonna see how far I can go.
oh, well, there you go. So thank you so much, everybody, again,
Yes.
for tuning in. Have an excellent night. Again, safe, sane, and consensual.
Yes.
Click that link in the comments, take the test, see what you got going on, have these conversations.
Right.
And again, research.
And don't forget, Saturday, tune in for Study Film. Y'all ain't gonna be ready for this conversation.
Man, because the comment is friend zone, fucking, and intimacy.
Yes.
So it's gonna be a real live conversation with studs versus femmes. We're gonna have all these questions about whose sex game is the best,
Yeah.
who be friend zoning too damn much, like all of this other stuff. So it's gonna definitely be a heated discussion. So definitely tune in for that.
And it's all friendly and love.
Yes, all friendly and love, but we all know femmes rule, studs rule. So it's gonna be one of those things. So definitely tune in on Saturday, okay?
And if you are in Houston, come see the crew.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna have some of the original crew members. I think Mel's gonna be coming
Yeah,
through
we'll
with us.
be here in the morning.
Tish will be with us. Of course, Cupid's gonna be there. We're gonna have some new faces in there. So definitely make sure you come through. And then stay a little later for the speed dating. You might be able to find you a little date at the mixer and everything. So it's gonna be a good time. So definitely come in.
All right. See y'all in a couple of days, hopefully.
Yes.
All right.
Have a good night.
Good night.